All right, tachometer, pretty simple, straightforward. 2 screws, one there, one down below. Pull it out, and there's your plugins. Just wiggle them out, wiggle the bulbs out, check them, put them back in, and you kind of see down there it's a little red. We'll do a check at night, make sure everything's still working. Alright, so we are working on getting the Speedo undone. Now there's a cable driven, so it's cable driven or electronic driven. If you're doing a newer one, it might be electronic and it's just a connector on the back. Cables are a little different. There's a cable that actually drives and spins in there to gear ratio reduction and everything. Actually tells you your, because there's gears inside the speedometer, it tells you how far or how fast you're going. So I've heard you can get to it without having to undo the cable. We're going to find out here in a bit and take a look at it and see how it goes. Speedo, kind of a pain in the ass. Kind of the same deal. You got your two electrical connectors, and this is what I was talking about. There's actually a cable that connects into this and spins as you're driving, that's connected to your transfer case that tells you your speed. If you look inside, this little white guy here, you can see the center part's a little squared. That's what sits inside there. And to take it off, you just, there's this, it's just a little thumb clip that hooks onto the ridge right here. You just pull it back. It'd be good to have the screws undone first. You can try to get, so there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can go at it and try to get the lights out from the back without undoing anything. One of mine was already pulled out for some reason. I guess I might have yanked on it or something, but, or undo the screws and then undo the cable, the Speedo cable, and then pull it out. So, because you want to have that extra play when you go to reattach the Speedo cable, or remove the Speedo cable, sorry. So we'll get these swapped out, check them, and keep moving on. All right, got the dash out, or gauges out, I guess, not the dash. These printed circuit boards are pretty cool for what they were back in the day. You just gotta be careful with them, because if you break any of that copper in there, the gauges and lights won't work. But if you're careful with it, these are your gauge mounts here, and then these are your light bulbs. If you pop that out, it's just a twist lock. Pop it out, put in your LED, put it in, hook it up, see if they work. But the nice thing is, if they don't, with these, you don't even have to pull the bulb out. You just take the housing back out, rotate it 180, put it back in, and then they'll start working. So I'll get a shot of all the dash lights at the end of this at night lit up. These ones that I actually got are dimmable, which was a nice surprise. The one that I put in the HVAC control, I don't think is, because it's an older one that I had sitting around that I found, but these new ones I got are actually dimmable, and I don't think that was in the description. So there are these Yorkum LED lights. See if I can find a part number or anything. There you go. There's a QR code and the part number. These ones are actually 5th generation, so they are dimmable, so that's kind of nice. Otherwise, those are the older ones that I have, and these are the newer ones. So got the gauges set up with LEDs, got the HVAC set up with an LED, and most of it working. The battery gauge, I don't know what's going on with it. I looked at the circuit board, and the nice thing with these is if you are having an issue with the gauge, is that you can trace the little copper lines to back all the way over here to the connector and see which one's going on. The weird thing is that the battery gauge and the oil pressure gauge, sorry, flip it over here. Battery and oil pressure gauge, they share the same positive. So if you look, you got a little positive and positive, and they're connected through each other. So they share the same positive through everything. So it's working right. It's just a matter of, or it's getting the power right, because I know it's getting power good because the oil pressure gauge works pretty well.
There is some scoring and corrosion on the connectors here, the terminals, so we'll take a look at that, see if I can clean them up any all. The pins on the connector look fine, but I think it just might be a gauge issue. So I kind of cleaned it up a little bit. I think I'm going to not break it apart at this point, because if I got to replace the gauges, I'm going to replace all of them at once. I like the way that they are now, the old school style. I know they've got some pretty sweet digital ones out there that I've seen, but I think I'm going to leave it for now and just deal with the gauge being pegged out. I know it's charging at 12 volts. I know that the alternator's working fine. I've tested all that. And we'll just keep rolling with what we got here until I either come up with some money to replace all the gauges, or they all just finally start breaking. So but we'll keep going, get this put back in, and then we will do the speedo and tachometer. What we're gonna do is go ahead and put everything back together, at least for the HVAC. There is a bulb in there it's a 194 for the dash lights, so I'm replacing all of them with these red LEDs, so I figured I would switch it out with a red LED. So found it, it's a twist lock style, and boom, works. If they don't work, be sure to try and flip them around and put them back in, unless you get very specific, a little bit more expensive ones. They're directional, and the power only goes through one way. So we should be good to go. We got everything together. I'm gonna turn everything on, make sure it all works before I button everything back up, but we are making progress today. All right, YouTube, so here we go. We got the red dash lights in. It's even daylight out, and these things are pretty bright. Even got the one down here. And the HVAC control, it's kind of hard to see right now, but it lights up pretty good at night. So all that was good. They work good. They're nice and they're bright enough at night that I can see everything, but the color doesn't make me go blind compared to everything outside. So really like them. I'll try to remember to put a link in the description for the brand. I got them off of Amazon. And we'll see you next time on Flightline Jeeper. Hit that like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Thanks. Bye.